Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I have a bit of a different video planned for you guys. I'm going to be taking you through my worst blunders from the Cape Town Masters Tournament 2025, and I think this is very different because most people are saying, this is the best move in chess history. Look at my brilliant moves. But I'm doing something different. I'm showing you guys my blunders, and I just came back from a very, very bad tournament. I scored 5 out of 9, which is a little bit disappointing. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad 2025 started badly because it's given me a lot of free motivation. But let's get straight into the first position here. It's round number 2. I'm playing against Geriant Segelaar. And in this position, it's white to move. You guys are welcome to pause the video and solve this position. I'll give you some time. And if you've done that, let me explain to you the idea. So here, white wants to play this move queen to h6, right? Threaten a checkmate on g7. But this move unfortunately fails because queen e1 check, king h2, queen e5 check, and after the block, here comes queen takes f6, which defends the mate, and at the same time defends this rook on d8. So the move here that white should play, I did not play this in the game, the move that white should play is pawn to b4, just attacking the queen. The queen has to go to b6, right? Because if the queen goes anywhere else, I will just take this rook and it's checkmate. So the queen has to go to b6, and now this same idea works because there's no check. Black cannot check and take the pawn on f6, and there's actually just no way to defend this mate. Now in the game, let me show you what I played. I got a little bit too excited and I played the move queen to b4, thinking, oh, I'm just a genius. If he takes my queen, back rank checkmate. Unfortunately, he did take my queen. I took his rook, and then he played this move queen to f8, blocking the check. And I realized, wow, I've probably played one of the worst moves on the board because my position would have been winning with anything else. Taking the pawn, for example, playing king here would have been winning. Okay, maybe not king there because my rook is hanging. Playing queen c7, exchanging queens would have been winning. Basically anything except what I played, because this just ended up in a very bad position. Luckily, I still managed to win this game. I played the move f4 and I brought my king in. f4 was a very nice move. Kind of, you see, his king has to go on this whole long journey, and I can try protect my pawn on f6. So luckily, I still managed to win this game, but a very disappointing move. Okay, my second blunder that I want to show you guys comes from round number 7. I'm playing my very own cousin, Mr. Sujay. And in this position, I want to take the knight on f3, and I want him to take back with the pawn. And now this pawn structure is very weak, and I could try to potentially pile some pressure on the f4 square, maybe pawn to g5 or something like this, and then I play knight to d4. So this is what I saw. I thought, wow, I'm going to hopefully try get a position like this. But now if I took this knight, he would take back with the queen. So I played this move, knight to b4, which is a blunder. My idea was, okay, he's going to move his queen. Now I take his knight, and he can't take with the queen because I'm going to fork him, check, win the rook. Unfortunately, I just missed a simple one-move tactic. Bishop takes f7, and after I take back, queen c4 wins the knight. But I still managed to recover from this game. Let me fast forward. in this position I got to this complicated endgame, and the reason this is complicated is because it's not really possible for me to win this pawn on h5. In the game I tried king to g4, and now comes rook to b4. I can't take this pawn with the king because I lose the knight. I can't take with the knight because I'm pinned. If I try to move my king out the way, I just get checked, and the same thing happens. If I try to move my king forward, check, the pawn is defended, still I can't take the pawn. So he has a nice defense here on this h5 pawn, a very clever one. So I tried the move king takes pawn. This is given as a blunder because I lost my advantage. But the worst blunder comes right now. In this position I played king to g3. My idea was that, okay, if I play pawn to h3, he's going to give me a check, forcing my king to go to the side, which I thought didn't make much sense. Endgame principles tells me to come forward with my king. So I played king to g3. Unfortunately, this is a blunder because it allows his king to get back. So what I should have done is played pawn to h3, and after this check I just hide in the corner. But the idea is that he can't actually stop my pawns from just running. For example, like king to f3, pawn h2, rook h1, king h3. And the reason this is so good is because white doesn't actually have a check. Like, they don't have a check because the king is blocking their own checking square. And if they did something like this, I could play check and then bishop here, and there's no way for them to stop the queen. Okay, guys, before I go on to my final blunder, a quick shout out to the worst move of the tournament by my good friend Mr. Cholton Manyasta, Charlie Blue, Magnus Cholton. So many nicknames for this guy, but we got to start calling him the Patzer after he played this move. But before I show you guys the move, can I ask you guys to subscribe to my channel? I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers so that I can have 1,000 subscribers. Who doesn't want 1,000 subscribers? But yeah, feel free again to pause the video. It is white to move in this position, and white should win. Pause the video. It's a very good end game, and you guys will learn a lot if you figure this one out. But Charlton in this position played the blunder pawn to b4, and the engine evaluation here on the side just went from +8 to -10 in one move. Okay, the idea here though behind this position, black is defending this pawn, white is defending this pawn. Basically, whoever moves their king first is going to have to lose their pawn because white has no way to defend the pawn. White can't play king to d3 and black can't play king to f6. And the only other square that they can defend the pawn from is blocked. So white needs to play a move to somehow stop black from making a move. So in this position, let me actually show you what Cholton played first. Cholton played the move pawn to b4. Big blunder because Loazi played pawn to b5, and after a3, a6, white is forced to move their king. They can't play this because it will just get taken, and once the king moves, this pawn gets taken and black is gonna go make a queen. So that was the blunder. The correct move to play was pawn to a4, and the difference is now if black plays pawn to a5, you play b3, and it is black who has to make the move, losing their pawn. And if black plays pawn to a6, you can just play pawn to b4, and whichever pawn pushes, you just push the other one, forcing black to make a move, winning the pawn and the game. So unfortunate there from Mr. Cholton, losing that game. Okay, guys, welcome to my final blunder of the video. And I just want to give you guys some context behind this one. I've been suffering the whole game. This is move number 19, and I've been fighting for my life since the opening. White has some very nice knights, a lot of threats, for example, knight f7. This doesn't work right now because, for example, takes, and I would get two knights for a rook and a pawn, which is obviously a better trade for black. But in this position, I found a very nice move. Knight takes e5. And what annoys me about this game is after I played this move, my opponent sat there looking at the board confused. Is their facial expression like, what is this guy doing? He thinks I just blundered a knight. And he sat there for like 5 minutes, not seeing my plan was simply queen to d4. Double attack on both of the rooks. Now he played bishop to b2, which compute is giving a blunder, but I don't think it's that bad because how else are you planning to defend both the rooks? Computer wants this crazy line with, bishop back, and then after sacrificing a rook to get some sort of play, but I don't know, it looks crazy to me. So he played a fairly decent move, bishop b2, and now um, this happened. And here, obviously, black is completely winning. I have two bishops for a rook, and the pawns are equal. Actually, wait, I have 7 pawns. White has 6 pawns. So I'm 2 points of material up. Engine here, by the way, is giving a -4 advantage. So black is completely winning. Now my opponent played c4, and I played what everybody has been calling the blunder of the tournament. And honestly, I can't even tell you guys why I played this move. I think the stress was just not really the stress, but the fact that I'd been losing the whole game and now I'm finally winning was kind of what did it for me. I should have just played queen to g7. My queen is a bit stuck behind my pawns in this position, so if I play queen to g7, I can now just activate my queen, but instead I played this move pawn to d4. And the worst thing is, if you look at my time here at the bottom, I'm on 446. I played this move and I'm still on 446 or 46, sorry. So I spent literally no time on this move, which is the annoying thing because it just blunders a full bishop and a pawn. So honestly, let me see. The engine evaluation went from -4 to +4 in one move, which is crazy if you ask me. But uh, I can't even tell you guys what I was thinking. I won't even lie. This was just, I had a very bad, very bad lapse of concentration. And yeah, this kind of ruined my whole tournament for me. But yeah, I mean,